So I have a guest from Slack, and I also have a AWS team member. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then I'm going to ask you guys to tell us about your launch.
Cool.
Sure, my name's Ray Zhu. I'm a senior product manager on the Amazon Kinesis team.
And hi, my name is Elias Haddad. I'm a product manager at Splunk, responsible for data ingestion at Splunk.
Okay, so I just heard the words Kinesis and Splunk. What does that mean?
Sure. So Kinesis is basically the real-time streaming data services running on AWS. And particularly, what particular Kinesis service we're going to talk about today is a service called Kinesis Firehose. It's a real-time streaming ingestion service into different data storage and analytics destinations, and you can do transformations on the fly as you transition the data through the service. And you probably guessed we're going to announce a new destination for Kinesis Firehose, which is Splunk.
So what is Splunk exactly?
What is Splunk? Great question. So Splunk is a machine data platform, and you might be asking, what is machine data, and what kind of platform are we? So by machine data, we mean any type of digital exhaust that gets generated by whatever powers your organization. So that could be anything from application logs, events, and metrics. Could be infrastructure logs and events. Could be your data generated by firewall, security devices, and it could be things like Twitter feeds, sensors from airplane and train. And then what platform are we? So we have the ability to provide you with insight into the data that you get indexed into the platform. So by insight, you have the ability to search and investigate by looking for the needle in the haystack, but also you can leverage the power of the Splunk search to have real-time insight and analytics, visualization, reporting, and alerting. That in addition to being a machine learning-powered platform, which means that now not only you get that insight, but also you have the ability to be more proactive about analyzing your trends and finding anomalies within your data.
And then one of my favorite things about Splunk is the ability to build these little dashboards, and they don't even need to be little, but I think those are powered by Django or something. I mean, it's pretty insane the amount of features that are in Splunk for building these dashboards. I've loved it the past when I've used it, so. How does this integration work? Or specifically, how does Kinesis Firehose work? And then how does the integration between Firehose and Splunk work?
Yeah, so Kinesis, as I mentioned, Kinesis Firehose is a real-time ingestion service. What it offers to our customers is to be able to get the data into the tools they've been using for quite a while for things like, Hive, Presto, a data warehouse, a search engine for quite a while. So we started the service by supporting Amazon S3, Redshift, and Elasticsearch as destinations. And over time, we heard from our customers, a lot of them are actually using Splunk. They want to use Splunk as the data analytics destination, and they want to have Firehose to support that. So the two teams kind of got together. We had a conversation with Team Splunk, and apparently they've heard a lot of requests from their customers as well. They use Splunk already, and they want to have a real-time serverless ingestion solution that's highly available and scalable to get the data into Splunk. So we apparently have a lot of the shared customers, and it worked out pretty nicely. We say, hey, this really makes a lot of sense for us to do something together with the real-time ingestion service, Kinesis Firehose on AWS, with the top-class data analysis tool and software and service, Splunk. Let's make it happen. So we started working on this to have Splunk as a supported destination for Firehose. So today, customers can use either RESTful API to get data into Firehose, an agent to get data into Firehose, or we have a lot of direct integration with AWS services. For example, if you want to get CloudTrail data, VPC flow log, CloudWatch logs, data getting to Firehose service, the integration is already there. So it's just a few clicks on the console, you hook it up. Firehose will ingest all these data. You can do live transformation as you flow these data through the service.
And that's Lambda functions, right?
Yes, exactly. That's integration through the Lambda function. You can write a custom function to do the transformation with Firehose. And everything's just serverless, and you don't need to think about scale.
I love that.
And Firehose will buffer the data and batch the data, do retry, failover backup, and ship the data into the Splunk cluster. And when you need to have maintenance on a Splunk cluster, or you have to resize your Splunk cluster when it's not available, don't worry about it, because Firehose will back up the data into an S3 bucket securely and durably, and later on you can do the backfill.
So one of the things that we do at Amazon is we work backwards from the customer. It's kind of one of our core tenets. And I guess what I'm curious about is, what kind of customers do we have that are asking for this integration or who are already using it?
So we have a lot of requests from our customers, and actually one of them, Cox Auto, is auto-presenting with us later on today. And we have a broad range of use cases that our customers are requesting to have support for. And these use cases can range from security and compliance. So in security, customers want to get insight into all their activity in their environment to ensure and enhance their security posture. On the compliance side, they want to enhance and comply with their standards. Cox Auto, for example, they use Splunk on the operations side to monitor the service health and their application health that's running on AWS, and they leverage IT Service Intelligence, which is a premium app on top of Splunk, to get insight into the performance of their application. And last but not least, also customers use Splunk to get insight into managing their cost and find out more about what resources are being used or unused.
I mean, I've actually seen Splunk used across a huge number of services, everything from rocket launches to IoT devices. So it's really, which I guess is another kind of IoT device, but there's a lot of really cool stuff.
Well, I'm sold, right? So tell me how do I get started? So I'm sure everyone out there wants to know how do they get started with this goodness. Tell us about that.
So there's two sides of the story. So one side, on the Splunk side, all you need is Splunk instance. So this is available for you on Splunk Cloud or Splunk Enterprise. Splunk Enterprise is a piece of software that you can deploy on your own server, or you can sign up for Splunk Cloud. And then there's an app that you download for Firehose specifically, so that you get a more out-of-the-box experience for analyzing that data into Splunk. All you need to do is just spin up Splunk, deploy that app, and then generate the HTTP Event Collector token, which is that authentication mechanism, pass it to your AWS admin, paste it in your AWS console, and then you can configure it from there.
Nice.
Is there also an API to configure that?
You don't really, so that's the Splunk side of the story, and on the Firehose side, the way Firehose ingests data into Splunk is through an HTTP Event Collector, which is a HTTP port that you can use to ingest data into Splunk. So Firehose is leveraging that capability, and the feature is already GA, so to start it, you can just go to AWS console, go to Kinesis Firehose, create a delivery stream where you can configure what's your data source, what kind of data you want to get into it. You can configure Lambda function for serverless data transformation on the fly. You can configure buffering options, data backup, and encryption and all that kind of features. Then you're putting a Splunk HTTP Event Collector token and endpoint into the Firehose, so that Firehose knows here's the Splunk cluster where I should ingest data into. Then literally the entire process probably takes about 30 seconds. Then you got a real-time streaming data pipeline, moving data from different data sources into Splunk in near real time without any infrastructure, and it's just as easy as that.
It's as native as it gets. So pretty much all you need is take the IP address of your Splunk cluster, take the HTTP Event Collector token, paste it on the AWS console, and off you go. We abstracted all that complexity away from you.
So earlier you guys mentioned things like CloudWatch logs or CloudTrail logs, and you mentioned VPC flow logs. And VPC flow logs can generate a lot of traffic. I mean, a ton of content. And I know just from experience that Firehose and Splunk can deal with that. But like, do you guys mind sharing? Have you seen any just like huge volumes of data? You know, can you give me some scale?
Yeah, we're talking terabytes of data. It's especially VPC flow log is one of the most popular data sources in Splunk, as you mentioned, and huge request over there. And we're talking terabyte already. We just launched it. We had a beta early on, and we've seen a lot of requests for this.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Actually, I just want to add to that because we announced the beta of this feature a few months back at the Splunk.conf. And ever since we opened up beta sign up, we have a lot of customers signing up and trying out the service. And Cox is one of them, and they tried it, they liked it, and which is why they are getting on stage later this afternoon with us to talk more in details about this integration. And in some scale and volume, you're right, like Splunk and AWS, we share a lot of top customers. They have a lot of infrastructure running on AWS, generating a lot of data volume on VPC, flow log, and all the other log data they might use Splunk to analyze. And the beauty of the Kinesis Firehose service is, first of all, you don't need to manage any server. It scales up and down elastically for you. You just don't need to worry about it. Second, it handles huge scale, because one story I always like to tell is actually Kinesis Firehose and the entire AWS metering pipeline runs on the same Kinesis technology. So you can imagine every single EC2 instance AWS has in their data center, every single storage node on S3, as millions of customers using AWS services, these service meter the usage from these customers end up being a billing report for the customer. All these metering records, you can imagine these hundreds of thousands of servers talking to the Kinesis technology to ingest these metering records. And Kinesis Firehose is powered by the same technology. So now you can use this service and capability to get all these huge volume of data into Splunk easily and reliably.
And in addition to that, you have the Splunk side of the house where you can analyze in real time and at scale all this large volume of VPC flow logs and other data sources as well.
So I know you mentioned how much you like the dashboard and the visualizations. Can I also take advantage of that with this new marriage of Kinesis Firehose and Splunk?
It is available for you to use. So, so that's the beauty of the integration. It's very native. So all the capability that you have, that you get today in Splunk, you have the ability to use it, whether it's in the cloud or on-prem or on your.
Yeah.
Nice.
I personally actually has already, I've seen some like beautiful Splunk dashboard and capabilities, because since I've never used Splunk before, I started talking to the customer, they wanted this service, so we started working on it. So I personally played with Splunk as well for this integration. Super easy to use, and it has a really cool live dashboard feature that you can create these charts and bars. As new data gets ingested by the Firehose service in real time, these graphs will just change dynamically. You can have a real-time live dashboard. Super cool.
And one thing worth calling out, the Splunk app for AWS, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, it's extremely popular app that we have in our app store. It gives you that out-of-the-box experience with visualization. Tons of visualization, tons of use cases that you can go after, whether it's billing, security, compliance, and so forth. It's pretty cool, actually.
Very nice. I'll have to download it.
On the topic of dashboards, one of the things that I love most about Splunk is that you can write them in Python, which is an excellent language. Just going to throw that out there for any of our Twitch viewers who have other opinions.
Ignore the man in the suit.
So I'm excited about this. I will probably use it. So I was thinking, maybe we'll hook up Twitch chat to a Firehose stream, put it into Splunk, and then do some machine learning and some dashboards and stuff.
Yeah.
Before I let you guys go, I'm just curious, what time is your session and where is it?
3:15. It's in Aria.
So I believe it's on level 1, but you should be able to find out that session. It's called Gain Real-Time Insights at Scale with Splunk and AWS.
And it's of course in the reInvent app, so you guys can check it out.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we have a demo booth as well here, so feel free to join us at the Splunk demo booth.
And where is the booth?
We have pretty cool shirts as well.
Oh, I want to come get a shirt.
Okay, the shirts.
All right. Well, that is Kinesis Firehose and Splunk integration. I hope that some of you are very excited about it. It seems we've had some comments in the chat about how this is going to be a big win for the compliance and intelligence communities and InfoSec communities. So
great.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what people build. I'm very excited about the fact that our two different companies were able to collaborate on this and build this feature together. I look forward to future collaboration and hopefully.
We love that.
Great having you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
I'll let you guys get back to work.
Thank you.
Thanks again. We'll be back on in just a few minutes. We're going to have a few more launches and some other stuff happening today. Thanks.